Say when it's live.
5, 4.
Good afternoon and welcome to Juneau Studio Live Showrunner Camp production. My name is April Dooley and I am the faculty member here at the camp here at Resurrection Lutheran Church. The campers here are putting on a daily broadcast from 3:30 to 4 p.m. and they are fully in charge of production every day. We have a special event that's also going to happen on Friday, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first of all, I want to touch on a very special day, which is July 4th. Now, here in Alaska, especially here in Juneau, you guys have a unique tradition that only happens in the state of Alaska, nowhere else. You run your fireworks at midnight. Now, I figured out as a visitor that it must be because the sun goes down so late, but I wondered why it was on July 3rd instead of July 4th, so I'm going to ask one of our panelists in a minute why that is. Now, a few other things that are happening around Juneau on July 4th is, of course, your annual parade, and the theme this year is Voices of Alaska, and it's promoting all of the positive people that are supporting and promoting Juneau past, present, and future. Your parade this year is going to start at 11 a.m. and you're going to start, of course, at Alaska Cyclery. You're going to go down Egan Street to downtown. You're going to take a left on Main, a right on Front, a right on South Franklin, a right on Marine Way that turns back into Egan, and left on 8th and land at the Whale Project. Now, directly after the parade is going to be a race that is going to run the parade route, and it's called the Glen Frick Relay. Glen Frick was a longtime Juneau resident and supporter of running, especially encouraging children to do so. He ran in what's called the Klondike race that you have that starts in Skagway and goes clear up into Canada. It's 109 miles long, and it is an increase in elevation of over 3,000 feet. He ran this every year from 1983 until 2013. So this is in honor of him. Now, after this race, you've got something super special coming up that our guests are going to talk about. But first, we're going to ask Mr. Brad Perkins there on the end, who is the producer and showrunner of our Showrunner Camp, to talk to us a little bit about the camp and what's happening on Friday.
Oh, thank you, April. So yeah, we're very excited about the Showrunner Camp. This is our first camp. It is sponsored by a number of organizations, but it is paid for by the CBJ Youth Activity Board. And we got a grant this year. This is our very first camp, and we appreciate the campers coming in to be the guinea pigs for us to run this camp. But even sight unseen, the Youth Activity Board has given us a grant to do the camp 2 more times next year, which means that our first camp for the next year, which starts on Saturday for the fiscal year, will be in August. So if you would like to participate in our next year's, one of our 2 next year's camp, it'll be August 7th through the 11th. And you can sign up now, and the website is showrunnercamp.org. Go to the website and you can register for the camp, and there's a full website describing everything that you need to do at the camp. And we'd be happy to talk to you about it and find out all about the camp. And campers, did you enjoy the camp so far?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a lot of fun. You learn TV production at the camp and during the week, and so they've been learning all about TV production. They get to do a daily broadcast every day to practice skills. But Friday at the camp, and this will be true for the camp in August as well as the one now, on Friday they get to produce their own concert with live local bands. This week on Friday at 7:30 in the studio is going to be will be the High Cost of Living with Colette's group. It'll also be the Peasters, will be a live band, and hopefully a couple other guest singers will be here. So it'll be a 2-hour concert, a rock concert in here, and there's a studio audience, so if you'd like to come down in person and be here, come down, and the concert starts at 7:30. If you want to be part of the studio audience, get here early enough to sign your releases, and we feed you. Everyone gets fed dinner, and it's a really great experience. You've never been to a live TV production. You're part of if you're here, you're part of the show. And then if you want to watch online, you can watch online live or anytime thereafter. And that's on the Juneau Live channel on YouTube. So all the information is on the on YouTube and on also our JuneauLive.org. And you can find out about what's on all our programming on the studio here. So that's Friday is the concert, either in person or live. So that's kind of what's going on Friday.
Thank you. Now, our two other guests, Karen Laufer and David Brabau, we want to hear about what is going to happen after the parade on July 4th.
Well, on July 4th, Resurrection Lutheran Church, of course, is located right along the route as people come and go for the parade. And we noticed how people literally walked back and forth from the church. And we had a wonderful member, his name was Bill Johnson, and he wanted to have hot dogs available to people that were leaving the parade. The parade was over, getting ready to maybe go home or go over to Douglas. And so we started out with maybe a couple hundred hot dogs and a grill and some chips and maybe some cans of pop.
And I bet this charged a lot of money for this, right? It was probably a big expensive thing. Money for money raiser.
We did it all for free for the community.
Oh.
And it became an annual thing. Bill has since left us, but it is still the Bill Johnson Memorial Hot Dog Feed.
Oh.
And this year, every year we've expanded. And as far as food and offerings, and we even gotten to the point where we set out tables and chairs.
Wow. So what are you serving this year? Anything besides hot dogs?
We have hot dogs, and lately, because we've brought the popcorn maker, we'll be able to have popcorn. That's been for a couple of years now. But this year, we are going to have nachos.
Oh, nice.
So you will be able to have tortilla chips and put some cheese on them. You can even probably put some cheese on your hot dog too. And something to drink. I don't know exactly what the weather's going to entail yet. I think it's a little too early to guess what the weather's going to be like. There have been some times when it's been extremely hot and sometimes when it's been extremely rainy. Mm-hmm. And it has not diminished the enthusiasm at all.
I find that Juneau residents are not bothered by the weather. It's a daily thing.
Yeah, and last year it was hot by Juneau standards. It was it was 80 degrees, and I was behind the drink table, and we were making lemonade and Kool-Aid and other things, and I think I counted like 60 to 70 gallons of stuff in these things, and I just sat back there making because people were Juneauites don't carry liquid with them, people from California or the South, and people were just dying of thirst, and so we just kept making and making. We were glad to be there, but we're at the end of the parade route, and people needed things to drink, and they were hungry, and we gave away 600 hot dogs last year, and we must have made, I think, maybe 400 bags of popcorn and chips galore, and so we're ready for that again this year. We're really happy to do it.
You've got the 700 hot dogs downstairs ready to go?
They are ready to go, and so is almost everything else ready to go. And while we don't charge at all, people give donations, which we really don't ask for. We put a big bucket out there, and to be honest with you, it ends up paying for the event. And it all goes to our food pantry, which is David is one of the people in charge of the food pantry.
Now, David, tell us your experiences about the July 4th celebration.
Well, specifically the hot dog feed started out very modest, like Karen was saying, just the hot dog, some kind of prepackaged chips, the little bags of chips, and a can of pop, and it's just gotten fancier every single year, where we get the actual mixed up drinks with the dispensers and condiment dispensers for fixing up your hot dog instead of having to juggle the loose bottles and everything. Yeah, sometimes those individual bottles of condiments were really hazard prone in the
But
first few years.
Rolling away and flying away and.
Just getting knocked over, especially the smaller kids trying to do their own condiments.
How many years have you been involved with the hot dog?
Oh, gee, I don't even remember how long ago it started, but it's a decade and a half, I guess, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that at least that
At
long?
least 10.
Oh,
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
10 years.
Well, Juneau is extremely grateful to you guys for feeding them at the end of the race and the parade. Now, when you get your fill, I want you guys to head over the bridge to Douglas because they've got a parade as well. And they've got a watermelon eating contest and a fireman's hose run and a soapbox derby and a whole bunch of other things that are going on over there. But don't forget to stop by and get your hot dog and your nachos and your popcorn first and say hi to everybody over here.
And thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
and
Yes, and
Have a hot dog on us. We're looking forward to seeing you all. Stop by and say hi to us.
700 hot dogs minus 4.
Yeah, -4.
and goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow at 3:30 for our broadcast. Thank you.
Happy 4th if we don't see you before.
Happy 4th.